Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be diving straight into what Bitcoin is doing. Since the last video I made, we have pushed up. Now that's really good because we took spot positions down at the lows, around $84,000, which I highlighted in the video. Yes, that wasn't the exact low, but it's a solid position. Anyway, we're going to be diving into what I'm expecting going forward, what I'm seeing locally, and I think you're going to come out of this video with quite a good idea on where Bitcoin is going to head next. So without further ado, let's dive straight into the charts. Alrighty, so if we position ourselves here, we're going to look at the daily chart first of all. So if we slap on a few of our key levels we've been speaking about. So first we'll start with our most significant level, which is our monthly level. The reason that's a significant level is because that's a monthly open and close, and price tends to be magnetized towards these regions if we enter a downtrend or uptrend, depending on where the anchoring point is. So specifically with this example, I was speaking about these levels when we were around this fall. We're speaking about major support coming in around this region, which we found support here. Now we'll get into whether we actually continue to stick here and bounce, but regardless of the fact, in this whole entire downtrend we've seen here, this is where the price is actually stuck and it's seen a bounce. Okay, so the reason this is such a large level is because, well, first of all, I like to look at volume. This is a volume level. So if we extrapolate this whole entire region, we can see that we had two volume levels going down. We had one here and one here. So if you were to look at this on a viewpoint, on a visual, you would say the bigger magnets down here and the smaller magnets here. Now we did find that we did experience a little bit of small chop down to that smaller magnet, but I would say over here we've had a much bounce, right? So pretty obvious. So that's starting with the monthly level. Now if we move to the weekly, we've got one weekly below us and we've got one above us at around 114, accompanying the monthly level there too. Now if we move over to the daily, we can see that we've formed a new daily here at around $84,000, and then we have a daily at 79 and 676. So that's our dailies. So that's very insightful and interesting. Now I want to highlight and just say something right now. If we lose this low here, I'm expecting this low to be taken out and a swing failure pattern around this region to form, aka a failed auction. That's what I'll be expecting. But it'd be the failed auction the other way around. Failed auction usually refers to taking out the highs and then it rejects and comes down. So what you would look at that would be here. So this would be a sweep of the highs. That's a failed auction above the highs. Here would be the inverse of that. So you'd be looking at the low here. Now that's assuming we take out this low. Take out this low, trade down, and then stop everyone out here. Potentially, but I'm not looking at that right now as I've retaken spot positions. You know my positioning is long. I've spoken about that in the last video. Go watch the last video if you want to see that. Now, what I was speaking about, which was another very, very key point. No, I don't think a lot of people on crypto Twitter or crypto YouTube have been talking about this, was the range, right? So we fell out of range 1, 2. So range 1 and then range 2's up here. So once you've fallen out of the range, so range 1, 2, 3, we fell out of this one first, and then we went into this one, which is back here. So that's where we had the little amounts of support here. And then we fell straight into the range, well, 1, 2, 3. So we fell back into range 2, and I'll just highlight how that looks. So range 1, and you can literally get the point, right? Range 1, that's terrible. Range 2, range 3. So we fell back into range 2 there. Now let's look at how price has been interplaying around our ranges. Quite amazing when you really look at it. Bounce off the value area high, bounce up, come into the range, come to the high of the range, drop down to the value area low, trade around the POC, form a triangle around the POC. POC is, excuse me, point of control of the range, which means it's ready to coil. So it's coiling in the middle, finds our push to the upside, which is how much of a move? A 4% move, and in total, it's been a 10% move, but a 4% move is a very large move on a scalp position. If you were to accompany that with money flow, you would have seen that, well, this is why I entered, because we had our low, we're back in the range, we're forming the triangle, we're starting to see that trend up, we see the round dot here, it's generally a good point. So what one would look at specifically for me, and it's why I took it, was I was starting to see that we were having the gradient shift and then this shift here. So that was a gradient shift that plus a triangle at a major support. It's pretty obvious. Now, right now, what are we looking at? We're trading in the range. Excuse me, guys, I got a little cough. So this is the range value area high, range value area, well, POC, and range value area low. So until we break this range convincingly, the next expectation would be down here. But I think that's going to be dependent on the order flow. Because in ranges, it's really just until you break the range, then you assume the range is still intact. Now, we do have some dots here showing that the local top has been there. But these can very easily shift. Now, if we want to zoom in even more on this specific range, we can see that we're trading within, and price is obviously going to find a lot of chop in here because this is a large volume transaction period here. And beneath that, you have 84,000, which would be the fall back into that low. So, well, we're talking about value high, POC, and value low. It's the same thesis, but on a more fractalized level on a small time frame. So, assuming you lose this POC, you'd be expecting this one down here. We are in this range, so I'd expecting something around here and a bounce and ranging until the move is decided from there. Regardless of the fact, I am positioned in spot. I have also taken a little bit of spot off the table and I've moved my stop up to the high. So regardless of the fact, it's a profitable trade for me. And I called it out live in the moment, and I've been highlighting these levels so you have had time to follow these. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. And two things that I'm looking at that are going to be very hopeful. Our weekly momentum is definitely going to wane, and we're definitely going to enter a phase where we either rocket or we form a range here and then go up to here and reject, or we go higher. So that's going to be our point. But I think the most logical thing is take it step by step and trade it level to level. That's how you have to be doing this, right? Because the reality of the fact is the bull market is coming to a close. I mean, I'm open for a Q1 top still. I definitely am open for that. But we're not in the position to be holding massive bags here. I'm just sorry to say that to you. That was meant to be done down here. You're meant to buy and you're meant to not worry about it again. But most people didn't. And if you didn't, you have to sit here and trade it, right? So, and you have to be patient. Now, we highlight that level. Now, one thing I think is going to be very important, we're just going to keep the daily on here for point of reference here. So a few different dailies. Now, to the upside in terms of resistances, you're looking at a few different key levels here. One to me would be 91, which would also coincide with the value area high of this range. Swing failure high, support, resistance. And then lastly, I would say the anchored VWAP, which would coincide around here. And then one I would pivot up here. So, but that would, in fact, I would rather use that one up there because that was done at the value high. So what you'd look is something like this, around $94,000, $92,000. So that's what I'm looking for, resistance. And then support, we know what I'm looking at. So I think that was pretty straightforward. In terms of what we've been seeing on the order flow, it's been shorts closing majority of this you can see open just going down, long entry in the market, so closing out. So you're right. So what we're seeing is shorts closing their positions, which is pushing price up too. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to keep updating you on that and how I'm nursing my position if I get stopped out, regardless it's been a profitable trade. In the meantime, support this channel. There's links in the description, guys, to Bybit and WEEX. Those exchanges you can trade. You can do spot. In fact, I do a lot of my trading on Bybit. I recommend using Bybit. They're a great exchange. WEEX you can also use, good for derivative market trading. Don't blow up your account. Use correct risk management. Help support the channel though, because the fees that go through that help support the channel. Other than that, leave a comment. And I had a few comments before in previous videos, people wanting to ask me to do altcoins, wanting to ask about more theoretical and macro stuff, which I'm going to do. I'm just easing into that, so without rushing everything. So without further ado, guys, do that sort of stuff. Subscribe, like the video, and share it with your friends. For now, I hope you have a splendid day, and I'll catch you next time. And let's hope that price keeps going up. If it doesn't, I'll take that break even stop loss, take that little bit of profit, and we'll look to reevaluate. But for now, take it day by day, and I'll catch you guys in the next update.